What's up, everyone? This is your boy Rob Clever. This is my 25th video for the Post Every Night in September challenge. We are almost at the end of P.E.N.I.S, so I hope you enjoy my P.E.N.I.S. Because you should. Because my P.E.N.I.S has been very good to you for the last 25 days, and you better fucking love it. Anyhow, so this video is about outing people. So I follow another YouTuber named Diamond Styles who made a video about the whole Mr. C and the transsexual situation, and I can't remember the transsexual person now, but case point being that how he outed himself eventually once he was outed, and he outed himself on the radio and said that he was into transsexual women and that he had decided to resign from his position at Hot 97, and it was a very emotional thing. And I actually feel like that people are obligated to reveal things to strangers that are very private issues. And not just private issues like being interested in transsexuals, but also interest of, you know, if you're in the closet, out the closet, which is no one's business. Your HIV status, which is nobody's business, unless it is involving another sex partner that you choose to have sex with. And at that moment, you should divulge your status because it's only the most responsible thing to do. I myself have been in a DL relationship, and I have been in that relationship for 3 years. It was a great relationship. Actually, to date, the best relationship I've ever had with a man before, contrary to the fact that most people think that open guys are much more appealing, but this is a whole other video about dating DL men, and I'll do that later. But as much as my ex and I may have argued or may disagree in a relationship, and I will put this on the record, I was the worst half of our relationship. I wasn't the best one, nor the maturest one. My ex was very, very mature and very, very fair and very diplomatic. I think it's where I get my diplomacy from now, especially when it comes down to dating. But at no time, no matter how much he pissed me off, no matter how much I wanted to hurt him, I would never out him to his family and friends. I think people don't realize that we still live in a culture where being gay is still frowned upon, especially as an African American man, which is another thing about how African American men are much more, you know, stigmatized for being gay than our white counterparts are, which is a whole nother video too. So that's two videos that I have to do now. I'm gonna have to just do a DL series. I'm gonna have to. So I think that for me, that there has to be a level of responsibility to people's business and keeping things private. Outing people is just very, very just not cool. For me, it fucks with my karma flow. I like my karma to be rolling a certain way, and my thing is that I don't bring anything back on myself just because I was angry or I was upset. And my thing is that just because he had done something wrong, then I justify me to go out and do the same thing to me. Now, unless there is justification, in my opinion, when you do something so egregious and something so disgusting that I have to get you in line. And my thing is, it has to be bad. And I don't want to give anybody any fucking ideas what my level of bad is. But it has to be really, really bad. But for me, it's a high level of bad. But us arguing and us disagreeing, or even you possibly even cheating on me, is not one of them. So at the end of the day, I think people just feel like we live in a society where everybody thinks that we're all privy to each other's information when we're not. Like, if he chooses to date men and keep things private, that's his business. People don't understand the concept of what you lose when you're openly gay, especially when you work in a city like D.C., where regardless of how progressive things are, there is a conservative influence that goes on in D.C. where some things are not acceptable, especially if you're working in the political field and working with certain Congress members that are anti-gay or whatever the case may be. You know, those situations where you have to be aware of your interactions, who you socialize with, and D.C. is very built off of social networking, physical and electronical. So you just cannot just go out there and just do what you want to do and not think there won't be repercussions, especially in a way everything in social media can be recorded. Anything you place on the internet is for public eye. Regardless of how much you think things are private, they aren't. And that's just the bottom line. With that being said, I don't think it's very irresponsible to just go out and tell somebody's business, especially when you're just making conversation out of it. That's very irresponsible. When it comes down to my idea of transsexuals are, especially male to female, are attacked or beat up, assaulted, killed for whatever reason, and some of the reasons do not have nothing to do with them not even discussing the fact that they are transsexual with this person that they had sex with. It's just like, just because they're walking down the street, they're being harassed for being a transsexual and being attacked. Those things happen. Those things are very real. I think people are not so much aware of trans crimes and the things that they do happen, that they are very real. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the United States, trans crimes do happen. And I feel like if you are a trans person, it is your responsibility to inform your partner that before we do anything, that I am a transsexual, or that, you know, my genitals are not this, they're that, whatever case may be. I think you have to be a little bit more responsible, and this comes from a safety standpoint. And when it comes down to people who carry an HIV status of positive, that is a loaded topic, which I don't think I'm going to touch in too deeply in this video, but I will say this. It's your responsibility to ask somebody their status. It's your responsibility to tell your status if you're going to have sex with somebody, and it's your responsibility to protect yourself. Everything comes back to you. And my thing is, two of the things, basically working your own due diligence of you protecting yourself and you revealing your status. But you asking somebody's status, you can't depend on the information is truthful, because people do lie. It's just the nature of the way things are. But you should protect yourself at all times. You can't take anybody's word for a grain of salt. And even if you're in a relationship and you decide to have sex, that's one of the things you should get tested together. But that's another video I really want to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about that one today. Also, as well, with HIV statuses, there's people with HIV are still very much stigmatized, and that's something that you cannot have as public information. You just can't. You just cannot have it as public information, and it's one of those things where it's so sad, because, you know, I think we would have a better grip on beating the stigma and beating the virus if people would stop stigmatizing people. People with HIV are living very long lives and very comfortable lives, and still having very fulfilling lives. And to sit around and constantly play this game of HIV people are this, they're that, or whatever, it's very disheartening, especially when certain communities are being hit with it the hardest, and that's mostly people of color, regardless of sexual orientation or not. Also, as well, that with HIV, I feel like people should not talk about someone else's HIV status that the person has revealed to them the HIV status confidentially, and making that conversation amongst their friends. Knowing HIV status is anyone's business, but it's between you and the person that you're sleeping with. Now, I'm sleeping around with a lot of people, some things might get out. But if you're having sex with somebody and they're mature enough to tell you their HIV status, you should respect them not to discuss it with anybody else. If they wanted to tell everybody else, they would have told everybody else. They would have waved the fucking flag. They would go out dressed in a red ribbon dress or a red ribbon top and say, hey, I have HIV and I have AIDS. They would just say it. But if someone gives you the courtesy and the respect to tell you, you should respect them enough not to go out and tell their business. If somebody respects you enough to tell you that I am a transsexual, you should not go out there and tell their business. If someone tells you that I am DL and I have a very important life and I like to protect it, but my homosexuality can hinder that, please do not tell anyone. You should not go out and tell anyone. With my ex in particular, in that situation in particular, it was a very interesting situation where I didn't know I've met some of his friends in passing because of the kind of work that I do as a bartender. So he would come to the job from time to time at one of the bars I worked at years ago, and I was just known as just the bartender. Mind you, this motherfucker got a key to my house, and we live together, and everything is, sunshine and fucking rainbows and unicorn shit and glitter, and the world is fine and everything is great. But my thing is that out of respect for his friends and out of respect for him, and because I loved him, I would never reveal anything like that. And then furthermore, people are compromising by revealing the idea that they are a gay man, especially with African American men, because they're so stigmatized by culture and black women. So my thing is, I want that to be public knowledge? I feel as myself as a black man that being gay makes me different than straight men when it comes down to dealing with women. Like there is a different kind of response, especially being a man who is comfortable with his homosexuality. There is a major difference between how black women treat me than I think they realize, and I think that it's one of those things where that is another video I have to do. There's a loaded video I have to do about DL people and black women and how society views us, and even us guys who are out the closet as well. But if someone trusts you with their information, please respect their privacy and not discuss it. Because you wouldn't want your business put out there, especially if it's like your fucking credit score. Because some of y'all motherfuckers are broke and y'all know that y'all are. If it's your criminal history, you want that, out there in public knowledge. Some things are just private. I think when people don't realize, which is a constant issue in our society, is the lack of the idea of the other foot. If you understood if the situations were switched and the shoe was on the other foot, how the fuck would you respond if somebody did that to you? I think when people realize the essence of the other foot, we all be fine. We all will be fucking at peace. But no one understands the other foot. Everybody has their own personal experiences, and no one cannot see both sides of a situation and how it may affect someone else or them as a result. And also, this is another thing I'm going to say as well. People do not like to be outed, and people do not like to be publicly embarrassed. And you doing those things can put you in harm's way. I'm a firm believer in that if someone is outed and something happens to them, I'm not saying I agree with it, but you have to be aware of those repercussions. My thing is that if you want to ruin their lives, some people will try to ruin yours back, and if that entails them taking your life, was it all worth it? And I think people don't understand, like, a 5-minute conversation about somebody else's personal life could end yours for the rest of yours. And no one wants that, and I'm pretty sure somebody's going to miss you, and you don't want to put your loved ones under that kind of pressure and those kind of problems. So anyhow, I'm going to end this video because this is getting long and loaded, and it will make me talk for hours about this. But anyhow, until next video, if you like this video and you want to see more, make sure you comment, subscribe, like, and share. Come on, it's Ron Clever, and you're trying to get into this thing, so you should subscribe, and it's awesome, and it's the best thing ever. And besides, sometimes I'm totally not wearing clothes, so follow me. And also, you can find me on Twitter at Ron Clever, also on Tumblr at Ron Clever, on Instagram at Ron Clever, and check out my blog at rockclever.com. Love you all.